Okay, before this video starts, I just wanted to say that this is a re-release. My old video, even though it only came in like a couple of weeks, got age restricted immediately because of the thumbnail, and that has just made it so I didn't get any views. Even though my content is like filled with curse words and stuff like that, seems that the age restriction just kind of ruined it. So I'm re-releasing this, different thumbnail, same video though. So, I've got a riddle for you. Who's the only League of Legends character to be non-canon? One of the oldest characters in League of Legends history. The answer is obviously Shaco. Now, there's a lot of champions in this game. Characters in this game that, like, do not have a lore. For example, Corki, Cho'Gath, and a few more, I think. Amumu is also one that doesn't have a lore, but he is canon. Of course, we don't know what is he. The main theory is that he's just a legend, like that he's not real. But seriously, that's a theory. So Shaco, to my knowledge, is completely non-canon. He used to be like a possessed puppet or something like that, but when they changed the lore of the demons, he fell apart. Completely fell apart, and to my knowledge, he's still not canon. Now, he might exist somewhere in the canon that hasn't been revealed to us yet, but basically not canon. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. What actually does matter is a Shaco rework. Seriously, this guy's old, this guy's outdated, this guy's shit. I really hate him. Almost everyone hates him except the people who abuse this little piece of dog shit in order to win in solo queue. This guy is the worst. Like, I cannot emphasize this enough. I hate this guy. Just playing this game of him in ARAM made me want to quit everything. And I mean everything. I was half paying attention. I was watching a show on my other monitor, and I still got 20 kills. Just pressing E. But the sad part is that he actually has a pretty fun kit, theoretically. As long as you don't just abuse it, it's actually pretty fun. You can utilize his ult in order to trick people to do stuff. Or like, what I do is I take the ult and then I walk out and I place the ult behind me so they target the ult. Which actually gets me like a clear line to just teleport behind them and like, nothing personal, kids. Scooter. So that's what I wanted to focus on. I wanted to keep the elements of this character that are fun, while removing every like cheesy part of the character. Now, something that Riot really likes doing, and something that I really like doing, is switching out an ult with one of the abilities, which is exactly what I have done here. So let's explain every part as it's intended. The passive is pretty much unchanged. The only thing I would say is, once again, a lot of this is up to balancing, maybe reduce the damage, or make it so the damage only applies once from behind, but then like multiple attacks don't do so. Anyway, the idea here is that when he attacks you consistently from behind, like maybe 3 or 4 times, then he fears you. Maybe he can also stack from in front of you. Yeah, I mean, that's actually a good idea. So he stacks in front of you, but if he attacks you from behind, that does even more stacks, and when he reaches like an amount of stacks, then he fears you. And he could also stack it with the E, which I'll explain later. The Q is completely unchanged. The only thing I would say is maybe add a bit more of a time to it, like since right now it's instant. I think that's really bad design. But allowing him to go invisible and go over walls is not bad. I'd also say that maybe he should be revealed by wards. But maybe like the ward has to be placed like ahead of time. So he can't just place a ward immediately to detect them. You have to like place it ahead of time. So that just helps ganking and stuff like that. Anyway, that's all arbitrary. The W is completely different now. Okay, so the W, he spawns a clone, which he can control. Yeah, that's the ult. And the clone takes 70% of the, takes 70%, like he takes more 30% more damage. So he has like 70% of the health. This is so you can like identify which one is the clone versus not. But now if you kill the clone, it doesn't fear you. Now, what the hell? Why is it lagging so much? Okay, I think it's good. Yeah, so you can still do a lot of these tricks or try and do stuff like that. Maybe the duration could also be increased. Stuff like that. The clone does not deal any damage. So yeah, that's the idea. I still like the idea that he can like trick you to go into places or fear him or to come into him and stuff like that. Like it allows for creativity, but the whole annoying part is that if he dies, he fears everyone around him. I hate that. That is so bullshit. I abuse it so many times in this game because like someone like Swain has an AoE ultimate, so you just put the clone into the ult, and he dies, and he fears everyone. It's so bullshit. It's a really dumb and bad mechanic that should not exist in this game. Now, if they do want to keep the fear, the way I would do it is make the clone like die in like 1 or 2 shots, but only from like basic attacks or something like that. And then it only fears the person that kills him. That's how I would do it. So if you kill him, you get feared. If you don't, then you don't. The way of how you kill him or what, like maybe it's a one shot, so he's supposed to trick you into actually attacking him, and then he can attack you. Or it actually has a health bar, like it is now, but it only fears the person that killed it. Something along the lines. In my opinion, that reduces from the like creativity of him, but adds to his overall utility. But that makes like tanks way too good into him, and I think would completely ruin him. In my opinion, this is the correct choice. I think the fear would just force him into being like abused by tanks, which is not something that you want. Because I feel like having like a champion be purely made for solo queue abusing is bad. It's really bad. Because then the tank would just attack both of you and just kill the clone, see whichever one is the clone, just kill it instantly if it's a one-shot thing. If not, then he would just stun it or push it away or attack it himself, or maybe everyone would just run away from it. It's, in my opinion, it just reduces from the overall creativity. You can't really be as creative, and you really need to abuse people being stupid rather than like try and be creative and like confuse people. We probably have seen those like clips where the Shaco like confuses someone with the clone and forces him to do something that he doesn't want to, and then like you're like, wow, I'm not even mad. That was like seriously good. That's what I'm looking for here, not bullshit fear or abuse or cheese. So now that I'm done explaining the W, the E is also completely different. Okay, so the idea here is that he takes his shiv and like he does like a forward slash in like a cone, and he does it like 3 times. So he does 1, 2, 3. The third one has a slightly longer animation. It also slows and deals bonus damage if the target is below 50% health, 30% health. Plus the shivs also stack the passive and deal slightly more damage from behind. Maybe they could also proc on hit. That might be a bit too much though. When it comes to scaling, I prefer if it was a AD damage, physical damage, because that would force much more of the assassin Shaco build rather than the AP build, which is right now what's more dominating just because of penetration and stuff like that being the better build, and because he can't build AD because he doesn't really do that much. Yeah, in my opinion, physical damage. But really up to balancing, I don't care. The ult. Now I have had a bit of trouble with the ultimate. I've had a few ideas. This is the one that I'm currently toying around with. One of the ideas I've had is that instead of the cubing the dash, it's the ult, and it also does damage, maybe even a stun or some kind of fear. But this is my current idea. Remember, none of this is like concrete. This is mostly like ideas. You could also like make the W the ult. Um, there's a lot of ideas, but this is the one that I'm currently toying around with. So he like the demon is comes out of the puppet. Okay, he's like teleported forward while the puppet remains like lifeless on the ground, but it still has a health bar. And the demon goes forward, and he has like his normal attacks, which deals his bonus damage. And if he attacks you like multiple times, they can also fear you, just like the normal Shaco, but maybe like way less attacks or maybe just more damage. And then he could choose to teleport himself into the puppet. The puppet like teleports back to the demon, which allows him like a quick line. So there are a lot of like counterplays to this. Of course, a tank could always like stun the demon. The demon also has a health bar, by the way, and it can also be stunned and stuff like that. Or you could like attack the puppet and get him like either scare him into canceling the ultimate. Maybe you should have some way to cancel the ultimate or teleport to it, or maybe just attacking it would cancel it automatically. Um, yeah, so and you could also always like stun the puppet and then like go into like full on killing him, since he's gonna be like a very squishy target. But if you kill the demon, then the demon just comes back to the puppet, which kind of allows him like a bit of a poke, or like in the team fights, something to do without having to risk himself too much. But you could always like counterplay this by just attacking the puppet or getting into the back line. And if he attacks it from too far behind, then he wastes a lot of the duration. And then he can like always like fear the back line with the auto attacks, and then teleport into it to actually commit to the finishing blow. This is some of the ideas that I've been toying around with. This might not be the best ultimate for his playstyle. I like the idea that he tries to trick you and then comes in from behind to do the finishing blow. You could always have the ultimate the same, but as I said, only the guy that kills it gets feared. Or have the ultimate be the dash. I've tried to think about a few like creative ideas, but not really that good into creativity. I'm more good into like balancing around something that already exists, rather than like create something new. I'm not ashamed in saying that. So if you have any better ideas, please share them. I really like the idea of him like having some kind of poke from like far away, so he can stack his passive, then jump in for the finishing blow. Maybe that's it. Maybe like he can't fear you, but he could stack the passive with the demon form. It's a few kind of nice ideas I've had. Yeah. Now, to address some of the problems, first of all, is clear. Without the W for him to clear, that might be a bit harder, but now that the E does AoE damage, as I said, I might try and find some way of like explaining it in animation form. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a triangle forward where he slashes around, 1, 2, and then the third one is like slightly longer. Boom, and it also slows the third one. So it basically is the same E, but it's like you can actually miss it, it's not point and click, and you can attack it from far away. And with a passive, he can now fear you, which allows him more attacks from behind. But obviously he can be countered by tanks, so then he could like use the ultimate, comes in, tries to find you like off position. I don't know, there's just a few ideas. I do think the ultimate doesn't really fit these. But it does allow him to do something in team fights, which is why I made it. Since I really don't want him to just be a cheese character. Now I do get it. It's a problem with balancing. And that's my main fear here, is that like the ultimate's gonna create a problem with balancing. Which is why I think Riot would never do this. Riot always tries to like balance it first and then make it like actually consistent, good, or fun after, which is not really my motto. My opinion, first the idea needs to come first, and then like it takes a while to balance it. But after Zeri, I doubt Riot would want to do something like that again. Because they don't want to sit around for weeks balancing an already existing champion. But like I really think giving him something to do would make him like more balanced and more elos and just play solo queue and abuse little pieces of shit, because it's really annoying. I really don't like it. I've also toyed around with the idea that instead of going invisible, he's like giving you insanity, and that makes you like unable to see him. But then like your allies can. But once again, the problem here is the same problem: is that like if you're coordinated, then it's gonna ruin it, since you can just ping and say he's here, or like if you're in voice, then you can just like say here, like, ping around, which does allow counterplay, which is a nice idea, but still forces him more into solo queue, where he can abuse idiots like that. I've also had the idea of giving him multiple clones, which all die in one shot, but like do confuse you to allow him to like run straight for you. That's another nice idea, but once again, same problem applies here. I wanted him to be more balanced in more than just solo queue, which is why I made that specific ultimate instead of any other the other ultimates I've toyed around with. My favorite idea, if they want like a more simple ult, is just do the Q, like make the dash the ultimate. Deal like a pretty low cooldown, but make it like deal a lot of damage if he can attack you from behind. So he still has to play around bushes and corners and like force you around with the ultimate to move into positions where you can like dash from behind you and kill you. Since like his ultimate is gonna be the finishing blow, it's gonna be like a lot of damage and your next like auto attack from behind or something like that. And that could still work, but then you need to find something to do with the Q. So then I toyed around with the idea once again that the Q makes him go invisible by giving you like insanity, and I really like that idea. I really do, but I don't think it's as balanced as like my current idea. But like that's another possibility. So this is really the idea of these like videos, is to give ideas or really concepts. That's why I always call it a concept. I know that this is like, this will never happen. This is just me toying around with some ideas that I think would be fun. But yeah, if you have any better ideas or critiques or anything, comments. I always read the comments. And I always love hearing like ideas for concepts and stuff like that. So if you have your own like rework concept, I would absolutely love to hear it. I always do, even though I almost always like say they're bad because they're not mine. I'm joking, but like I still love hearing them. It also gives me like ideas. I like stealing people's ideas as my own and being like, haha, I thought of this first. Anyway, that's it for me. Yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.